Alright, so back here on the 1978 Toyota pickup, working on the power steering system. So some good stuff, some not so good stuff. So I do have the custom box that I made all fabricated up and working well. So this is just, some steel that I welded into a box. And then I got a half coupler here with MPT threads. And then just like an MPT threaded plastic fitting in order to cap that off. Welded just a barb fitting on this side, and so here there's just a barb fitting that goes into the siphoning for the pump, and then I did weld in a 6AN fitting on this side, just kind of keep those two as far away from each other as possible. And then I just welded some nuts on the back side here in order to mount the regulator, and then these nuts are just acting as spacers in order to just bump that away from the pump a little bit. The reason for that bump away is that I was planning on just running some line. Now this is 3/16, that's not what I would have used. I'd used 3/8, and so just fabricated this up in order to see, and I was hoping to do something along these lines in order to have some nice tight U-bends. And then I went to actually bend it and just absolutely mangled this 3/8. So I tried this bender here. This is from Eastwood, and that kinked it real bad. So, one of the bends here, it's kinked horribly with that one. And then I just got like an Amazon special one here, and that got this first bend just fine. So that was at 90, and that was okay. But then, since I need to get a U, I kind of moved it around to the side, and then it kinked on that side. And then plus that's as far away as I could, as close as I could get to this fitting. And so now it's a real long run here, but that's as far away as I can get. I would like to get a lot tighter. I even tried putting it over like a socket or something, and man, this 3/8 line does not want to bend. So I couldn't get that to work, which sucks. So ordered up just some 180 degree 6AN fitting, so it'll just be a U 180 degree, come around here, it'll be a U on the other side, and then I'll just have a little piece of line there, which I'm not real happy about, but I can't get that 3/8 line to work. There's probably better quality benders or somebody that's smarter and better at it than me, but can't get it to work. As far as like the siphon line that's in here, that's working okay. The pressure line from the pump into the regulator, that's working fine. But I did make a mistake on ordering some of the fittings. So that was the other oops that I did. So the high pressure line is, it's got rubber lining, so it's a CPE lined AN fitting, AN hose, and that's rated for the power steering system. And what I'd use for the fuel system, since you typically only have 50 to 100 psi, is this PTFE stuff. And so I had a bunch of fittings for the PTFE stuff, and I just bonehead move. I didn't have fittings for this one, and they're obviously not compatible with each other. So this is the style of fitting for the CPE rubber line, and so that screws in like that. And then for the PTFE ones, you got this little coupler piece, and then that screws over and then locks it down. So they're totally not compatible with each other at all. And so bonehead move there. I got, lots of these PTFE fittings laying around. I just did not have any of the CPE ones. Then as far as the pieces that I use for welding on the on that reservoir, so I just took a coupler, male-to-male 6AN coupler, and cut it in half. And so then the other half, that's on the reservoir, and that seemed to work out just fine. And then, you can see that's just a barb fitting, and then I used the larger size, because I didn't know what size I was going to need, so I ordered this. That way I had a smaller and a larger one, and then just cut that down and then welded that on there. So that stuff's working just fine. It mounted onto the car great. All the stuff looks good, but now, I'm going to have to get new 45s, because I had the 45s from the rack that were going to make a nice run up to the regulator. So I had to order some 45s. Also had to order some 90s because from here down to where the rack goes, I needed to get 90s. And then one of the fittings down there on the rack is actually wrong as well. So I had to order that. And so wanted to get this all done. I have the time and everything, but I don't got the parts. So will not be finishing the power steering system today, which is a bummer. So, all right, thanks. See you in the next one.